The hotel stood at the edge of the city, a towering relic of the past with ornate designs and a reputation as old as its creaky wooden floors. It was called the Silver Crescent, and though it had seen better days, travelers still frequented it, lured by its charm and whispers of its haunted history. I was one of those travelers. A business trip had brought me to the city, and every other hotel seemed overpriced or fully booked. When the concierge handed me the key, an old-fashioned brass piece with the number 666 etched into it, I chuckled nervously. "Is this some kind of joke?" I asked, holding up the key. The man behind the desk didn't laugh. His expression was unreadable, almost apologetic. "It's the only room available, sir." The elevator ride to the 6th floor was uneventful, the usual hum of machinery and the soft ding as it stopped. The hallway, however, was unsettlingly quiet. The carpet muffled my footsteps, and the air felt thick, as though the walls were holding their breath. Room 666 was at the very end, isolated, as though the rest of the hotel was avoiding it. The door creaked open, revealing a modest room. A neatly made bed, a small desk, a wardrobe, and a window overlooking the city. It was unremarkable, save for the faint, metallic scent lingering in the air. I chalked it up to old pipes and dropped my bag on the chair. As the hours passed, the feeling of unease grew. The silence of the room wasn't peaceful. It was oppressive, the kind of silence that makes you hyper-aware of every breath, every movement. The heating system rattled occasionally, and I dismissed it as typical for an old building. But then came the knock. It was soft, almost tentative, like a child tapping on a door for permission to enter. I froze, staring at the door. Who could it be? It was past midnight. Gathering my nerve, I walked over and looked through the peephole. No one was there. "Hello," I called, my voice louder than I intended. Silence. I shrugged it off, assuming it was a prank or my imagination, and returned to bed. But the knocking returned. Louder, more insistent. My heart raced as I flung the door open this time, prepared to confront whoever it was. The hallway was empty. No sound of retreating footsteps, no doors opening or closing, just that oppressive quiet. I locked the door, double-checking it, and tried to sleep. The knocking didn't stop. It moved now from the door to the walls, then to the wardrobe. My skin prickled as the sound surrounded me, relentless and untraceable. Felt like the room itself was alive, mocking me. I decided to leave. I grabbed my bag and pulled open the door, only to find the hallway changed. It was no longer the dimly lit corridor of the 6th floor. Instead, it stretched endlessly, lit by a sickly red glow. The air smelled of burnt wood and something fouler, like decay. A whisper floated down the hall, barely audible. It wasn't in a language I recognized, but the tone was unmistakable. A low, guttural warning. I turned back into the room, slamming the door shut. My phone had no signal and the landline was dead. Desperation took over. I opened the window, hoping to signal for help, but what I saw outside wasn't the city. It was darkness, a vast, empty void, with faint shapes writhing within it. The shapes pressed against the window, their distorted faces stretching the glass, eyes like empty pits staring at me. Their mouths moved, but no sound came through. I stumbled back, tripping over the bed, and landed hard on the floor. When I looked up, the wardrobe door was open. Inside, something shifted, a shadow darker than the absence of light. It stepped forward, its form undefined but undeniably human-like, except for its eyes, glowing a dull red. It smiled, a wide, unnatural grin that stretched too far. "Welcome," it said in a voice that echoed in my mind rather than the room. "You're finally here." The room began to shake, the walls splitting as tendrils of darkness poured in, wrapping around me. I screamed, but my voice was swallowed by the void. The last thing I saw was the creature's face, inches from mine, as it whispered, "Room number 666 always has space for one more." The next morning, the hotel staff found the room empty. The bed was untouched, the key sitting neatly on the desk. The only thing out of place was a faint, burnt number scorched into the floor. 666. No one ever stayed in that room again.